Hi everyone, we are group 5 and in our YouTube video we are assessing a patient's health literacy. My name's Courtney and I'm playing the doctor.
I'm Thea, I'm going to be the nurse.
And I'm Kelsey, and I'm going to be the patient.
We hope you enjoy our video.
Yes.
Hi Miss Smith, it's your doctor again.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Well, you were here for your ulcers that you had on your feet.
Yes.
And since you were here, we went ahead and took some blood work on you since we know that you're a diabetic. So I have the results of that blood work, and I'd like to review it with you really quick. So your fasting blood sugar that we took a little bit ago, it was 219, and that's pretty high. That's higher than what we'd like to see. And then also I have the results of your A1C test, and that was 8.5, which that is also a lot higher than what we'd like to see. Are you taking your blood sugar at home?
Yeah.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's good. And what about your metformin and your insulin?
Yeah, I'm taking that too.
Okay. Have you been administering those like you're supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for some reason then your blood sugar and your A1C, it's not where we'd like to see it, and I think that's probably the cause of your foot ulcers. Oh, hold on one second. Yes?
Doctor, we need you right away.
Okay, I'll be right there. Thank you. Alright, I'm sorry, I have to tend to another patient, but I'll leave this information with your nurse and talk to her about your care plan, and you can just ask her any questions, okay?
Okay.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Miss Smith, I'm your nurse.
Hello.
Has the doctor come in to see you?
Yes.
And what has she reviewed with you so far?
She said something about my something.
Yes, your A1C was 8.5, which is high, and that's not good. We really want to get it at least below 7. We want to make sure that you are taking your medications correctly with your insulin pen. We want to also make sure you're checking your feet, because that's very, very important. Also, we want you to make sure you're counting your carbs during your meals. You want to spread it out evenly between, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, well then we will get you all set up to get your discharge, getting out of here. And yeah, I will be back shortly.
All right. Thank you.
So in the scene that you just saw, although the nurse was very nice to the patient, she did not really respond to the patient's needs. And even though she did ask if the patient understood what she was telling her, that's not really an adequate way to assess a patient's health literacy. So we're not really sure if the patient's needs are being met, if she's understanding what the nurse is telling her, if she understands what the doctor told her. And so another admission to the hospital based on her diagnosis is probably likely because she won't be following these instructions.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Smith. I'm Thea. I'm going to be your nurse today. Has the doctor been in to see you?
Yes.
And can you just tell me what she's gone over so far?
She said something about my A something.
A something something. Do you know what that is by any chance?
No, she just said it was high.
Okay, well, before I start giving you some of the information about what an A1C is and everything about your diabetes, I first want to do this little exercise with you. Now, this is a table right here of an ice cream container.
I love ice cream.
Yum, right? Okay, so I'm just going to hand you this and let you look over it. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. First question is, if you eat the entire container, how many calories will you eat?
1,000.
All right. Okay, if you're allowed to eat 60 grams of carbohydrates as a snack, how much ice cream could you have?
1 cup.
Very nice. Okay. Your doctor advises you to reduce the amount of saturated fat in your diet. You usually have 42 grams of saturated fat each day, which includes 1 serving of ice cream. If you stop eating ice cream, how many grams of saturated fat would you be consuming each day?
33.
Very good. If you usually eat 2,500 calories in a day, what percentage of your daily value of calories will you be eating if you eat 1 serving?
I think 20%.
Okay. Is it safe for you to eat this ice cream?
I don't see why not.
All right. Exercise. Now I'm just going to tell you some things about your diabetes before we discharge you out.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Have you been taking your fasting glucose at home?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and what that is the glucose is the sugar, and diabetes is the amount of sugar that's running through your blood. And it's really good to make sure you're checking your fasting glucose, which is before you eat. So when you wake up in the morning, before your lunch and before your dinner, to make sure you're taking those with your glucose monitor and making sure you're writing them down. It's really good to see what the levels are.
Okay.
All right. Also, it's really good to make sure you're watching what you're eating. We want you to try to count your carbohydrates, and you want to split those up between 45 grams per meal. You want to make sure you're having the same amount of carbs each meal. That's very important. You don't want to load all those carbs in at once. Your body won't be able to take it. If you can, I know you have the ulcer on your foot, but try to do some bed exercises, lifting your legs. Try to get your circulation working, as much exercise as you can. Because since the sugar in your blood is getting so thick, it's not getting to your feet, which is causing these ulcers because they're not getting enough blood perfusion down there.
Okay.
So it's very good to monitor your feet since you already have the ulcer. So a good way to do that is to, check them in the morning. And if you can't see down there, maybe put a mirror on the floor and then you can look that way. It's very good to make sure that you're taking your insulin and metformin correctly. You've got to make sure that you're priming, which means like turning it to 1 or 2, pushing it in, and that means it's primed. And so let's say whatever your units that you need to take, you turn to that number, and then you make sure you're injecting and holding for 10 seconds. And you want to make sure that you are rotating sites on your tummy, make sure we don't cause any injury. Okay. Now, just to go over everything, your main problem here today is your diabetes. You came in because you had developed an ulcer on your foot. What you need to do is start making sure you're taking your medications correctly, rotating sites, checking your feet, and also watching what you eat and making sure you're taking your blood sugars, fasting. It is important to do this because if you don't, the ulcer will get worse. And before you know it, if it does progress and get worse and worse, it could lead to actually taking off your foot.
Oh no.
And we don't want that.
No.
So,
I gotta work.
yeah. So just to be clear, would you mind just repeating back to me what you're going to go home and tell your husband?
Yeah. I need to keep my eye on that ulcer because we don't want to get it cut off. And then, I need to rotate sites of my insulin medicine and take my metformin. And I need to do that before meals and before bedtime.
Checking your sugars. Mhm.
Yes. And write it down so I can bring it to my appointments and show my nurse and everything how I'm doing. I need to watch my carbs and not take it all in one sitting. Not take all my carbs in one sitting.
Yeah.
What else did you say?
Maybe do some little exercises when you're
Yes.
sitting down,
Yes,
checking
do
your
some
feet,
exercises.
And okay, so it looks like that you do understand everything, but to answer your question about the A1C, that is actually a summary of your blood sugars over 3 months, and it shows us if you're managing your diabetes well at home. Now yours is 8.5, which is high. We want to get it at least below 7. And when you have your next appointment with your primary care doctor, they'll probably draw some more labs to see what your A1C is, and hopefully by then it'll go down. And now that you do understand everything and understand what the diabetes is and what you need to do, that hopefully will come down next time you see your doctor. All right, well, I will go get the rest of your discharge papers and we'll get you out of here.
Thank you so much. I understand so much better now.
Anytime. I'll be right back.
So as you can see in this scene, the nurse takes the time to assess the patient's literacy skills. So the nurse noticed that maybe the patient wasn't quite understanding what she was saying or maybe what the doctor was saying. So she took the time and the nurse used the newest vital sign tool to help assess the patient's health literacy skills and understanding of basic terms. After assessing that the patient had a pretty low health literacy, she implemented the teach back method, which helps her understand if the patient actually did understand what she was teaching and to help further drive home the lessons that the patient learned.
Thank you for watching our video on health literacy.